this is Dominic, wedding DJ.
And this is Serena, wedding planner.
And together we are the Wedding Duo. We are here to talk all things weddings.
Planning a wedding can be stressful, but we are here to help.
So before you say, that's it, we're going to Vegas, don't go to Vegas.
Let's have some fun.
Join us as we answer your wedding questions and help navigate planning one of the biggest days of your life with the Wedding Duo. Hello, everyone. We have taken a bit of a sabbatical, and now we are back to recording a brand new podcast to share all of our knowledge with you.
So excited. I mean, we're refreshed. We went on a trip. We spent some time putting together our new house, and now we feel ready to take on the podcast once again.
Are you sure?
Kind of.
You were just saying you need more coffee.
I always need more coffee.
I just realized I'm a half a cup short. I usually have a second one while I'm getting ready. I only had one cup of coffee this morning.
That's going to be trouble. Or maybe it's good. Who knows?
We'll see.
So we just want to update you guys. So we took like 3 weeks off of recording, which kind of equates to about a month of episodes. And we hope that you were binge listening to get yourself caught up. But
there was somebody that commented and said, "Oh no, I'm almost done with your podcast. What am I going to listen to on my commute?" And I'm like, we got more coming. Don't worry.
We're coming. But we went and took a trip to California. We took the family. That's where I'm originally from. And my family's out there. It was wonderful. We spent time on the beach. It's so much.
Santa Cruz, to be exact.
Santa Cruz, yes. It's so much fun. It was just lovely.
If you don't know, people know where San Francisco is. Just south of that is San Jose. Head to the coast, Santa Cruz.
Right.
Ish.
Yeah. I mean, we're literally talking about like such different weather from Texas. Like I can't even explain to you like how hot it is here now if you're not in Texas. And how nice it was.
It was cold. I was like, ooh, we need sweatshirts.
Sweatshirts. We had sweatshirts on in the evening because it was cold and we were by the ocean. So
we're still months away from sweatshirts in Texas.
You know, I only wear my sweatshirt like 5 times a year here.
They're awful. She's got these old sweatshirts with like paint on them. They're like, I mean, that's nice to have an old sweatshirt, but I'm like,
they're comfy.
There have been a few that have disappeared mysteriously.
No, you better not. The one you're referencing is from my brother when he played high school football.
One. I know.
You better not get rid of that.
I questioned it at first. I go, who is this sweatshirt from high school with a number on it? Your brother. That's acceptable.
So today we're going to tackle an interesting topic. When we chat about like what we're going to talk about for episodes, we try to think of things, from y'all's perspective, planning a wedding. Like, what might you have questions about? What might you encounter that you've never encountered before, right? And so today we're going to talk about lighting, and we're going to talk about lighting as it pertains to the space, as it pertains to like your photographers and, the options, and also like what kind of things your DJ could bring possibly for lighting.
It doesn't have to be a DJ. There are lighting companies.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
But most of us as DJs and DJ companies, we have some of that stuff. We have the entry-level mobile stuff. But when you go to the venue, some venues have it. Like there's venues in town that have a uplighting. We're going to talk starting with uplighting. From us, an uplight is a fixture that goes on the ground that shines a beam of light up a wall, up a column, maybe up some linen. Linen, it really pops on linen. Linen is one of my favorites. If I see some swag coming down, some drapes, I'm like, oh, I'm going to light that up. It's like fabulous. But some venues have that already, a hardwired, meaning they have that same similar lighting around the perimeter, or maybe they have some that you can rent. They may charge you or they may not, maybe more expensive or less expensive than your DJ doing it. But these are questions you can ask, like, do you provide uplighting if you're taking a tour with your venue? And they were like, nope, but the DJs do, or actually we do. Or you might see something and say, what is that fixture there plugged in the wall? They go, oh, we have uplighting built in.
And to let you know, not only what uplighting is, but what it can do for your event is it really changes, when it's dark, the ambiance of the space, meaning it gives you kind of a warm, fuzzy glow. It's more for like the aesthetic. It's not like the dance floor, like club lighting, but this is more for changing the visual kind of warmth in the room with lighting.
And let's stay on the track with uplighting. There's different strengths, or different styles, or different powers, but the colors is usually a great way to bring in a color that maybe you haven't already, that you wanted to include, but you haven't been able to, with bridesmaids dresses, with linens, with floral, because those are the things that bring in a lot of color, right? But so maybe I always ask, and I always say, what are your colors? And people say, oh, we're doing black and white, or we're doing some navy, some pinks. And I go, well, what have you already, oh, we've picked the bridesmaids dresses. They're going to be pink, let's say. And then we're going to do blue linens. I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's another color that you wanted to include, but you haven't been able to. But if you are doing black and white, which is pretty common, but they're like, I'd love to do some uplighting, but how do you do black or white? I don't like white uplighting because it's already, as a DJ, once we open the dance floor, I want it to be dark. And if you have white uplights, that's just going to glow in the room, and it's counterproductive for me trying to get people on the dance floor. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But when you buy an uplight, like us, when we had this first conversation, it comes with RGB, right? Which is red, green, and blue, and the colors that you can get combining those. But I had to get the more expensive ones that have RGB-A, and that A is amber. And you were like, why do we need those? And I go, because the amber lighting, I use it all the time.
It's the best. It's my favorite.
One of the colors people say sometimes is champagne or gold.
It's similar to that.
It is. But the way I describe it, and I always say, I sound a little metro because I say, it ties into candlelight and brings a room together, because I've taken pictures or videos where I'm sitting at a table with candles at a table in front of me, right in front of me, and my uplighting's in the background. I'm like, look how perfect that it matches the candlelight. It's very warm. It's very charming.
Yes.
It's very elegant. So if you're like, I don't know, I don't want blues or pinks or anything, you're like,
well, because
suggest the amber.
Yeah. To that point, the colored uplighting can be overwhelming. Like if you do all pink around the room, you're going to have a pink space, right? It's a lot. So in this sense, we use amber a lot to do exactly what I referenced, change the ambiance, make that warm glow without being like obnoxious with a color, right?
If you go too heavy on one of those, because the difference is sometimes we can bring in 4 uplights, 4 fixtures, and do almost like spotlighting around the room, like highlighting a certain spot. What I usually suggest is if you have a sweetheart table, we'll put 2 behind the sweetheart table, let's say, and it kind of frames the 2 of you, because you seem to think it's all about you, as I say all the time. Or maybe you're sitting in front of a fireplace, left and right of the fireplace has a glow that goes up left and right of the fireplace. Fantastic. If there's an entranceway where people are going to be walking through all night, we're doing introductions through there, left and right of like a really beautiful entranceway, whether it's a door or just like a hallway, beautiful. You have a beautiful cake that you spend a lot of money on and it gets lost in the dark corner. Putting 2 uplights behind a cake kind of focuses that spot. Just like almost like an accent wall in your house, right? Because there's loads of pictures at the cake. There's loads of pictures at the sweetheart table. It's beautiful. They look stunning in pictures. It's just great. Even during the daylight, they're powerful enough. Like I've done pictures where I'm like, it is bright and I have 2 windows right next to it. You can still see the uplighting, but then as it gets darker, it just becomes more brilliant.
And impressive. Yeah, absolutely.
But wait, let me finish it up.
Okay.
So that's like if you go kind of highlight a certain spots in the room, right? Like an accent wall in your house. If you go around the perimeter, which is what you were talking about, the amber light is nice. But if you do pinks, like those pictures, when you get them back, talk to your photographer. If you have too much uplighting, when it gets dark, you're going to look at your pictures and be like, oh, we have a Pepto-Bismol. And next day your guests are like, why is everything red? Like, because you fried my retinas with that pink, everything. Yeah. It can be too much. So if you love pink and you want a pink wedding and you want all your pictures to look like pink, because if they're close to the pictures, that light will be on, because the photographer, their photographs, their cameras are super sensitive. They pick that light up. And that's why I'm not crazy about green uplighting, because they'll be like, why does Uncle Charlie look seasick? Oh, he was right next to the uplight at his table and he looks green, right? So just use caution on, like, you're like, oh no, I'm going to go all the way around with pink uplighting, like pump the brakes. Maybe we go a little less, or maybe we do a different color, but it could be really, I've seen galleries where I'm like, whoa, too much.
Yeah. And you can take a look at pictures. Honestly, that'll help you decide, right? Like you can Google, you can Pinterest what an uplighting space looks like and the difference between maximum uplights and just a few, and decide for yourself, like what kind of an effect do you want? But that's uplighting. So it's very common, as you mentioned before, for DJs to offer it, for your venue to have it. If you're doing like a lighting package with another type of company, they'll probably offer it as well.
It also works if you're trying to like transform some space. You're like, And, the room
You're in
is
the gym or
the room is
something.
affordable, but it's just not.
Yeah.
I don't want that one wall. I just don't care for that wall. Like, put some lighting on it. Or a lot of lighting companies, a lot of DJs can do pipe and drape as well. You want to tell them what pipe and drape is?
Yeah. So pipe and drape is basically you use
It's a pipe.
a pipe and a base
And some drape.
and you drape linen to cover a wall or, a large area so that it looks just like a linen wall rather than, the background of a gym or whatever
And
it
you
is.
can, it's crazy. You can do like 40 foot. It's crazy. Some of that's a bigger production company, but they can surround a room.
Yeah.
They can do just a wall, and you can do any color. I've seen some heavy duty stuff. I've seen ones that have twinkle lights in it.
Built in.
So it looks like you're looking into space, sort of.
Yeah.
I've seen ones that are like velvet, and I'm like, it's heavy, but it's people do it. Like if you've never done it before, use caution. You will pinch your finger dropping those bars. We've all done it. Anybody who's ever done any production
I didn't know that.
Oh my gosh, you bring it down, it catches your skin, and you're like, ah! And yeah. But it can look really pretty, and then you can put uplighting on that, especially the white linen. If you do white white pipe and drape, and you put some uplighting on that, beautiful.
Right. And the other thing to consider, just like we were talking about with lighting, is you can do minimal, right? I've seen people just do the backdrop behind the sweetheart table. So you don't have to necessarily pipe and drape the whole space. That'll definitely be more expensive. So just look at your options. Again, photos are going to be your friend to really understand what we're referencing, because that'll give you that visual kind of like clarity, like, oh, that's what they're talking about, right?
And even if you're outside, there are venues I've done that are outside, and maybe they really love the idea of some uplighting. I go, I've illuminated trees, like at the base of a tree. Sometimes there's a beautiful tree the sweetheart table is right in front of a gorgeous tree. And I put 2 or 3 blue uplights, and the tree kind of glows, especially as it gets darker. Oh, fabulous.
Lovely. So speaking of outdoors and like different style lighting, if you're having your reception specifically outside, this is something you're going to want to consider. What is the lighting like, right? Like, is there lighting options? And as it gets dark, what is that going to be like for my guests? So we've done events, and I'm sure you've seen events where they do like the market lights or the twinkle lights. What that includes, and you can do this indoors as well, but it's basically utilizing some poles at the edge of the space and then draping lighting across the roof or the ceiling. There's no ceiling because it's outside, but like creating that lighting above the guests so that it's illuminated from above, right?
And twinkle lights, which are like basically Christmas lights that you put around a tree or something,
True.
Those do not provide any lighting. Like, you're not going to be able to see any better with twinkle lights. The tree will look really pretty. It's an effect. It looks really pretty maybe at the altar, but during daytime, you're not going to see them. So if it's something you're going to use, maybe some pictures, do some pictures there. Once it gets darker, it looks beautiful.
Yes.
But they're also very inexpensive. You can put them around a tree and then take them down. This would be like if you
or DIYing
at Grandpa's back 40 and you're DIYing it. But that's a consideration. Like, there might be a big spotlight on the corner of the barn, but do you want that on like during your event?
Right.
It's not that beautiful lighting that we're talking about. The market lights, absolutely, those are beautiful. However, keep in mind, if you're putting them in, they have to have a big pipe and a base also. So they're going to be between tables. They can't be on the dance floor. They're going to be, people will grab them, and then suddenly everything starts shaking because they're not a permanent structure, right?
Exactly.
If you come off of a tree and the corner of a building, yeah, that's different. And they're going to be out of the way. You're not going to have any of that stuff. But if you're just in an open space, you got to think through that.
Yeah, you do. And this is where your experts in the lighting would come into play. Like, have them tour the space with you, ask about, what it'll look like to put something like that together if that's something you're considering. And as I mentioned, you can do this same concept inside. We have a particular venue in town that offers it. With the venue, offers the option to string either market or twinkle lights above the dance floor. And it's a really beautiful, amazing effect. It's extra, right? Because if you're inside, a lot of these venues have nice lighting already. They have chandeliers, they have the ability to dim them. So it's not as, I would say important to think through that part of it if you're indoors.
Which takes us to the next thing. I'm not a fan of the market lights inside because they're usually over my dancing space.
Right.
Me, as a DJ, it has been my experience that like if it's too bright, people are like cockroaches. If it's too bright, they scatter on my dance floor. I need it dark so they feel comfortable creeping out from under the refrigerator, whatever, onto my dance floor.
Yeah.
It's too bright, right? So, and the market lights sometimes over the dance floor, if you can't dim them, which oftentimes those are not set up to a dimmer,
those aren't set to dim.
It's too bright. So you end up unplugging them once you open the dance floor, and then you paid money for it. And again, I know Kristen might be listening to this, and that's the venue she's been on. We did a podcast with Kristen, who owns Kendall Point, and it looks beautiful. But just like if you're outside, if you're going to string these market lights over your dancing area,
it's going to light it up.
It's going to be too bright, and
not necessarily too bright.
I mean, yeah, not too bright, because you can dim things, right? There are possible,
or you could maybe ask your lighting company if there's an option for like less,
or put them
wattage
over the tables where you're eating. That's what I would say, because that's the area you're going to want to be able to have lighting is if it gets too dark, right?
Right.
And there's time of year is a factor. You know, it might not get dark until plenty late enough where, you know, you might not need the market lights. So, but that's a whole nother direction.
And you're just being selfish.
I'm being selfish. I want my dance floor to be epic. Just like when I talk about people want a giant dance floor, like, no, I want a small dance floor that looks packed, not a giant dance floor that just has small groups dancing as opposed to one big sweaty mosh pit where people are like more inclined to want to jump in because they're not going to be seen. People are paranoid and they're weird. They're like, I don't want people to see me dance.
I don't want to dance when it's light ever. I mean, I can speak
it's
to
my
that.
white whale. If you're in a venue and there's just wall-to-wall windows and it's summer and the sun doesn't go down till 9 o'clock and you're like, and you open the dance floor at 7:30 and I'm like, oh gosh, this is going to be a battle because it's too bright. And I'm like, go down, son, go down. I'm trying to get, and so that's another, it's the cross I bear as a DJ.
I see
this is the road I am on. But I mean, it's a thing. This is why lighting is, people like lighting. You're going to do a whole topic on lighting. I could talk all day on lighting.
Well, and to speak on like the venue perspective too, and kind of touch on what you were talking about as far as dancing, know who you need to go to adjust the lighting. This is important, right? So as the planner, I ask early on, like, am I able to dim the lights? Like, are you going to dim the lights if there's someone there from the venue?
Do I need to find you?
Yeah, like how do we manage the lighting? Because exactly what we were just talking about, you know, you want to be able to control that portion. And the other thing is I need to talk to the photographers about what that means for them, because not all photographers are as comfortable adjusting their lighting, you know, as some. So I want to talk to the photographer and be like, is it going to throw you off if right before the first dance, we bring the lights down drastically? Like, do you need a minute to get out your whatever lights there? I'm not a photographer, so I'm not going to speak on what's better or worse, but
video too. The video is two things. And but the thing is, they're going to adjust their settings based on the light that they have available. And if they have it all set up, ready to go, and then, ladies and gentlemen, dancing for the first time as husband and wife,
I'm talking about.
And we bring the lights down, they're going to be like, oh crap! Like I had it set for the other one. Now it changed suddenly. I had a videographer come up and get upset with me one time because I had him bring the lights down. We were opening the dance floor, so it was my slow song for everybody. Everybody was out there dancing. And he goes, dude, you can't do that. I had a few cameras set up with a certain setting. And I go, okay, well, we didn't change it during the first dances. At some point, I need to bring the lights down because we're about to open the dance floor. And he was like, yeah, I guess you're right. And I go, okay, I mean, meet me halfway. I know you have a job. I have a job. We all have a job. We got to play nice in the pool. And I'm very aware of my other vendors, right? I'm always like, as are you. But I mean,
absolutely.
I'm like, even when
communication is key.
We're about to do introductions and maybe the venue says, oh, we always do introductions right through this door. And I go, well, look where the sun is. The sun is right behind it, blazing in. The photographer's not going to get any pictures because they're all going to be silhouetted because that backlight is too strong. I go, and I'll check with the photographer and they go, oh my God, you're totally right. I go, okay, well, let's do this side door and have them come in there so we can get these pictures. And they were like, and the owner of the venue might be like, we've never done that. And I go, do you care? And they go, I don't care. And I go, okay, let's try it.
Yeah.
Because they cannot get the shot they're expected to get with that lighting right there.
Yeah. And this kind of speaks, this is so funny. So I posted a video on Instagram recently where it showed an introduction
I don't know if you can see my jaws tightening right now.
It showed an introduction of a couple that was a while ago, honestly. It wasn't recently. And they came into the room. They came onto the dance floor. We hit the cold sparks, which we'll talk about as well. And then, it was epic song, the whole thing. Well, in the video, you can see that the photographers are moving around behind the couple, trying to get the shot. And we had a comment from a DJ. Not only did he comment, he created a whole story about how Dominic is an amateur and should have
had the gall to say, I would never let this happen in my wedding. This DJ clearly is an amateur. I'm like, I wanted to reach through my phone.
I know.
And
it's
slap
okay.
him.
It's okay. So the point is, like, what I'm trying to make is, of course, you communicated what was going on to those photographers. And we can only be so responsible for what another vendor's experience level and what they decide to do, right? Like, we will communicate as much as possible, but then it's on them to know how to get that shot or where they need to be standing. We can only do so much. So that is just my 2 cents.
It's kind of like you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? So,
yeah.
But this is every time I go to, even if there's a second shooter, I will go to the second shooter and say, here's the plan. I'm going to bring the wedding party in from here.
Yep.
I'm going to have them go over there. I'm going to have the wedding party in a half moon. I'm going to bring in the couple through the same door. And then there's your shot wherever you think is the best angle. But that's what I'm planning to do. Does that work for you? And they're like, yeah, perfect. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, videographers. I go to both videographers. Like, here's what we're going to do. And if they say, maybe they mention like, I that doesn't work for me. I'm like, what works for you? Like, okay, I want to make it epic, but I want to make sure they can get the shot.
Mm-hmm.
But they wanted to have the cold sparks in there with the audience,
in the
guests behind them, as opposed to me. Because if they shot the other direction, it would have been just
the
me,
DJ
right?
in the background, yeah.
Which, I have a nice setup. I was wearing my hair. I had a great hair day, so it would have been a great picture. But the other thing is, they almost. I point them out. Like, do you see those giant boxes? Those black boxes on the dance floor. Those are going to be shooting sparks 9 feet in the air when I hit the button. I always tell the wedding party so they don't.
Yep.
If you have some poor bridesmaid straddling that thing, it'd be a cool video, but that poor girl
oh, Lord.
would lose a few years off her life. But she almost tripped on the thing, right? Because she was looking through her camera. And I would have been like, one, it would have shot sparks across the floor.
Yeah.
But also, she barely missed getting
tripped.
Sparks shot up her back of her shirt. So yeah, but it was like, of course we talk about this stuff. Anyway.
Right. So we're going to stop that tangent because he could probably go on another whole rant about that.
Jaw.
But okay, so we've just talked about cold sparks. So let's talk about what those are. So here in Texas, and I believe it's in
California, New York.
California. No, it's not New York. I think it's like Ohio.
It was New York.
No, I don't think it's New York.
Okay.
So we'll argue about that. But there are a few states where the permitting and the process to utilize cold sparks legally is difficult. We are in one of those states, but in a lot of other states, it's not. So what cold sparks are is, the reason they're called cold sparks is they're supposedly no combustion. It's safe.
No, there's definitely combustions because you pour in.
Or no, what is it?
You pour in basically gunpowder and it shoots out the top. So there's combustion happening, but it's not hot. You can
heat.
put your hand.
Yes,
you can put your hand into the sparks. And you can feel the little things hitting your finger, but
it's not hot. It's not
going to burn you unless you go right
or
down
catch
over
anything on fire. So it's an effect where essentially you've probably seen it. Again, look up the images to kind of help connect the dots here. Where it's like shooting these sparks in the air like a sparkler, but larger and much more grand of an effect, right? A lot of people use them during dancing, like first dance or introductions, like inside, and then also during your grand exit on the way outside. Mm-hmm.
Because again, at nighttime, they look amazing.
They really
If you're
do.
inside, you can see them as well. But again, if it's darker, it's an effect. It looks like a giant sparkler shooting in the air. It's pretty epic, really.
Yes.
But they will go, the top spark is about 9 feet on the ones that we have. But if there's a low ceiling, I'm very cautious about that. If there's a white wall, I get them off the wall because it will stain a white wall. If there's really light linens, you see, or if there's some, what are those brown things that sometimes are in florals? Those really...
The pampas?
I don't know. They look like dry, not
the
leaves.
cattail things?
Kind of, but
what
they're more...
I
don't see them very often, but those... Well, I would think those would go up in flames if the cold sparks are there.
Supposedly they're not supposed to be flammable.
No, the potential is there. Like I said, but
you shouldn't make that statement.
No, I'm just saying I would use caution.
Yes, that's all we're saying.
And if
we
the
don't
venue
know
says,
for sure.
okay, tell your DJ, get those off the wall because somebody's going to be paying for that stain on the wall because there is some combustion happening. But again, it's not going to burn anybody.
That's what I was trying to say. Because you said the thing would go up in flames.
Oh, anyway, there are videos. Just watch some videos, but
just use caution. Yeah. Talk to your venue, talk to your vendors. This is definitely a really cool, really neat effect, but you just want to make sure you're being safe and that you are following the law, right? So we'll kind of end it there. What's another option for lighting?
My favorite.
Okay, go.
My favorite lighting is a monogram. And the reason this falls under lighting is because in the olden days, there was a big LECO, we called it, a big light, and it would get to be 1,000 degrees, and there was a small gobo. Some people refer to it as a gobo because back in the day, there was a gobo. I think that's an acronym. I don't know what that stands for, but it's a circle. It's a piece of tin. It's a circle, and they would like stamp out your image. You would slide the thing into the light and then try to focus it, but it was so hard to get everything in focus. If there was this big swooping letter L and you tried to focus on the middle, which is where your first names and the date were, but the big L was off to the side. I'm trying to focus that part of the L, but then the middle becomes unfocused. And then it heats up to 1,000 degree and it changes. And now the middle is out of focus. You try to adjust it and you burn your fingers. But now we do digital monograms and they are so nice. You can shoot it at an angle. You can change the vertical or the horizontal. I mean, it's so great. And we can do motion monograms.
Okay, so
they're so great.
Let me give you a little simple explanation of what he's talking about. So a monogram is taking an image, whether it be like your last initials, your names, the date, and shooting it in large form. Projecting it.
We're not shooting it.
Well, okay. Onto the wall. Some people will do it on the dance floor. So onto a surface, basically. And it usually works best on like a flat surface
in a beautiful spot, right, over the couple, over the fireplace, on a big wall where everyone's going to see it. The dance floor is fine, but once people start dancing, it's just lines on faces, right? So I'm not a crazy fan, but sometimes that's the only spot. If it's all glass,
there's
like windows,
it's
really challenging. If you talk to your DJ too, if you paid whatever they charge to have the monogram there, and they show up and go, I don't have anywhere to put it. I'm going to put it in the bathroom. You're like, no. That's not.
That's not what you're getting for your money. Yeah. So that's what it is. And the reason you and I like it so much too is that it stays on all night, right? So like you're paying for this effect and you get a lot of pictures with it there. When we talk about the cold sparks, you're paying a lot of money and it's literally 15 seconds. Like maybe they shoot it off more than once, but still like it's a very short time.
I did the 30-second option, but you're right. But they might charge more for that. But as it gets darker, your uplighting and your monogram will look even more brilliant. Every picture can have that in the background. And you're right. The cold sparks is like a whoop, bang, woo, and then it's over. And the monogram all night. But the motion ones, we have, this is relatively new for us too. The last few years, we started doing motion ones. We'll have one that has nothing. And then in cursive, it draws the name, Chelsea and Aaron, and then like a heart, kind of like a little bubbly heart will come around, or a border kind of, and then it sparkles and twinkles, and then it starts over after like a couple minutes.
It's basically a video.
It is. It's a video that's projected, but and we've had ones where the border just kind of comes around and it bubbles and sparkles. It looks really pretty. But the one that has really been fantastic is these are for your Disney fans out there. It's the Disney ears, right? The outline of the Disney ears with their Mickey's ears. Or Minnie. Could be Minnie.
But you said the Disney ears. Like, what are you talking about?
Like, people don't know. Of course they know what I'm talking about. The ears.
Mickey, the mouse ears.
But it has maybe your first name or maybe your date and maybe initials. Some people, it's a variety, whatever you want. But behind it is legit fireworks show. Like, the fireworks are going off behind. It's so, the first time I put it up, I go, that is a fireworks show happening. And once it gets dark, oh my gosh, it looks so cool. People are like, I need that. How do I get that? I want that. I need that.
It's really fantastic. And
it's so cool.
You may not even know.
I stared at it the first time. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah. You may not even know that's something you can do. And so that's why we're like sharing some of these fun, like insider, information about all the options that there are.
We're doing it on New Year's Eve, not with the Disney thing, but the fireworks show will be happening in the back. So it doesn't have to be the Disney one. It's not like it's a standard thing. You can mix and match. We have people, we send them a link where we say, hey,
pick out.
I like the font from R12, but I want the border from G9. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we'll mix it. I mean, and so it's really, and then we send them and they go, I like it, but can you make our names bigger?
Yeah, so we do can make a process of design.
So it's literally a personalized, like it's your personal thing up on the wall. And you can take it a step further where you have that design. Your monogram was on your website. It was on your save the date. It was on your invitations. It was on your menus. And they show up and it's on the wall.
It's great.
Oh my gosh.
Woo-hoo.
Talk about bringing it all together.
Fantastic.
People are writing this down like, give me a pen. Give me a pen.
Yeah. So sometimes people, we've talked a lot about like the pretty lighting, right? So let's talk about the DJ lighting, like the dance, like the,
Yeah, it's like the club lighting. We call it dance floor lights. Ours is pretty simple, but it projects lights out. Like the uplighting is up on the wall, but the dance floor lights project out. It changes color. It dances around. Some of them are just LEDs that shoot out. Some of them are lasers that shoot out. Some of them are just lights that shoot out. But it changes. The one we have, it like changes. It'll do one thing. It'll change color. It'll spin around. It'll twist. It'll turn. It'll shoot out a laser.
But there is like a spectrum for this, right? Let me explain this to you. Like we have a fairly like simple, not simple, but just not like, some of them are intense, or they'll do like spotlights or circles and it'll twist and move, and it's amazing, right? It's really kind of fun.
Tell them when you were at the country club when it was like a luncheon or something and they hired a DJ. What did the lady said? I remember this so clearly. You told me you took a picture and sent it to me like, look what this DJ brought. And the lady was like, what did I order?
Yeah.
Because he had a bar with just every light, every dance light you could possibly have ordered.
And it was like a luncheon.
It was a luncheon, and he just brought every bell and whistle.
He was excited.
He was excited. But that was the comment. The lady was like, what did I order? Like, well.
Because it was over the top. And that's something, this is a little bit off topic. If you're concerned about your aesthetic, this is coming from a planner's perspective, meaning what the room is going to look like, ask for a picture of what the DJ setup looks like, okay? Because not all DJ setups are created equal. And some of them take up a smaller footprint. Some of them take up a bunch of space. So you don't want to go into your reception and see the DJ setup and go, oh God, like what did they put up here? Like,
I spent months designing and what everything is going to look like. And then this eyesore. Yeah. Because we're part of it. We're part of it. And your DJ is there. And it's obviously I'm a DJ, so what am I going to say? But it's a very important part of the day. And we can't be in a corner, like, I'll put the DJ way over there. Like, I can't do my job from over in the corner. Right. Our setup looks really pretty, and I try to, we do lighting behind our facade that matches either the uplighting or the look in the room. Yeah. Or we can have it off even if you don't want any lighting, but it's, but some people just have the table with the black linen and all the cords and cables are just out. Even if you dress them, there's pictures of my booth like that back in the day. And I sends a chill up my spine. I'm like, it's cringeworthy. But there's facades you can buy, that are not expensive, that most DJs have kind of slowly, as you upgrade your setup, whatever. But
and you can also, if you want to take it on a whole other level, there are design companies that will come in and design a facade for your DJ. If you really want to tie in the look and have your own color scheme or style that can go in front of whatever the table for the DJ.
Yeah, they told me recently, like, oh, you don't need to bring your facade. I go, why would I not bring my facade? We have one. I go, when do you have one? Like, what?
No, but it's true. And it really brings it together. It's beautiful. And they can have your name on it or how the colors you like. So that is something to consider. It's also why we don't bring in any type of, what is it called? The big pipe scaffolding.
It's like the rigging kind of. It's like it's not scaffolding, but it looks like scaffolding.
That's what it looks like. And it's just because we're not trying to be the center of attention, and we're trying to fit in with, your vibe, and not stand out in a way that you're like, oh God, what is that?
But you're right. But sometimes there's a big stage and you have room and you can fill it. You can bring all the stuff. You want that.
You want TV screens. You want the whole thing, right?
Absolutely. But sometimes you're like, dude, we're in a tight room. There's like, because usually if I bring my ceremony system, I have a smaller table. There's times I've had to use that small table for my reception setup,
right?
Because there's just no room. They've got me crammed in a corner, and I go, I can't even use my 6-foot table because there's no room for it. I got to like really get creative on how I'm going to set up. But there are DJs that come out with their left and right, their
trusses or something.
They're like trusses. They're like but it's like a giant stage, and they put lights on top of that, and it looks really cool. And there's like a spotlight dance. One of the guys in town does that, where they have this programmed light and it spins around with lights. And it's a big step up from what we usually bring. But, is lighting important? Is that part of it important?
Yes.
Because
so that's why you ask those questions, right? You ask your DJ, if that is a priority to you, what does your setup look like? What kind of lighting do you bring?
How much space do you need?
Yeah. Can I upgrade to something else? Because most DJs will accommodate that, right? Or you can go outside of the DJ company and find a lighting company to bring that stuff in.
That does a lot actually work. They're like, oh, we have a lighting company. Like, oh, okay. And they're doing something elaborate, pipe and drape, uplighting, market light. They can, they're if it's in the budget or you want to really transform the space, you get a great deal with the space, but it doesn't look, it's convenient, it's priced right, but it just doesn't match the look you were hoping for. I have seen rooms transform.
Absolutely.
You walk into a gym and I'll be like, oh, I've been here before. And you walk in the next time, you go, is this the same spot?
Yeah.
They rolled out carpet
possible.
one night. I go, oh my God, it is not. You would walk in there going, this is not the same room. It's unbelievable.
It's wonderful. So we hope, or we covered it all, right? I think
so.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my notes.
I know. I'm trying not to get cut off by him. So I think this has been really helpful, like even just for us talking about it, like, kind of covering the topics and thinking about from a couple's perspective, what you guys may want to ask or explore as far as your options for lighting. Definitely, guys, if you haven't yet, follow us on TikTok and Instagram. I will say by the time this podcast comes out, which is in 2 weeks, we're doing a little redesign and stuff to the website. There's some fun things coming down the pipe. So if you've never visited our website, check it out. Check out all the new stuff we're bringing. Check out our shop. We have downloadable forms to help with your wedding planning. We can do virtual planning with you guys, which is super helpful if we can't fly out to your event and do it in person. So yeah, just keep following along. Okay, of course.
So something I've done occasionally, not very often, but if your linens are light colored, if you have white or really light colored linens, I've been known to put an uplight under the sweetheart table. And
I'm not as big a fan of this.
It glows. Oh, it's really cool. But not just that, but when you have a high boy, right? Sometimes
cocktail
you have those
tables.
Cocktail tables, and you have like the spandex thing that straps over them. And those are sometimes black, sometimes are white, right? But they're really tight. So we had a cocktail space one time and we were outside. I'm like, where am I going to put my uplighting that these people have hired? And there were 4 cocktail tables with the white spandex thing around them. I put them inside there and they were glowing, whatever the color was.
Yep.
And then I went over during dance. There were these 4 girls leaning on one cocktail table and it was colored blue because that was their color. And I walked over with my control and I go, excuse me, I'm taking the party up a notch. And I switched it to dance mode and it just started going, and it started changing color.
Yeah.
And I switched all of them and it was right next to the dance floor. So it was this really cool, like
fun.
The cocktail tables were dancing with the changing of the light. It was because most of the uplighting, if they get the quality ones, you can switch to a different mode where it plays off the music. It goes off the sound. The beat will change the color.
Colors. Yeah.
It's really fantastic.
So much fun stuff, guys.
Fun.
So we're happy to be back from vacation. We are going to be releasing episodes weekly as we did before. But we will end this podcast the way we end every podcast.
It is a very personal day. So if you don't want any lighting, don't let us talk you into it.
For
It's
sure.
not in the budget. Or if your cousin did it, like, why is your lighting? Like, it wasn't in the budget. I didn't want to do it. My room looks beautiful the way it is. Then don't let somebody talk you into something you don't want to do or talk you out of something you have your heart set on. It is absolutely your day.
You do you.
Are we blowing kisses still?
We're blowing kisses.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, so thanks for listening to our podcast. If you found any of this information helpful and you know someone who may be engaged or is a maid of honor, maybe you could tell them and share it with a friend.
Absolutely. So screenshot this episode, share it on Instagram, on Facebook, and tag the wedding duo. We promise to share the love back. Also, if you are interested in more resources or the show notes, you can go to theweddingduo.co. We have one-on-one virtual sessions, a shop, all sorts of fun stuff. Check it out.